Hello everyone! Today we're working on fractions and decimals. And this goes with the same learning goal that we were working on yesterday. I can find equivalent forms of fractions, mixed numbers, and decimals. This part right here that's underlined is really important. You should definitely put this in your notes. You write a fraction as a decimal by dividing the numerator by the denominator. So that's dividing the top number by the bottom number. Top to bottom, just like we read in English, this is how we do our division when we want to change fractions to decimals. And there's two things that could happen when you change a fraction to a decimal. You will either get a terminating decimal, which is a decimal that stops, or you'll get a repeating decimal, which is a decimal that has one or more digits that repeat without ending. So I know that you've seen both of these before, so we're just going to do a little review and see what that looks like. So if I want to write 4/25 as a decimal, I am going to take my calculator and I am going to do 4 divided by 25. This fraction bar is another symbol for division, and so I'm just going to read this top to bottom and do 4 divided by 25 and hit equals. Now you can see on this calculator that this decimal terminates. It stops. It just has 2 digits after the decimal point and nothing else. If I did this long division, I would also see the same thing. If I want to change 3/11ths to a decimal, again, I can do this on my calculator, or I can do it with long division. Just going to show you what this looks like really fast with a repeating decimal, because this one is going to turn out to repeat. And I'm going to show you what that looks like with long division and then also with the calculator. So again, I need to move my decimal up to the top in the same spot. 11 divides into 3 0 times, and 11 goes into 30 twice. 2 times 11 is 22, and if I subtract, I get 8. So I'm going to bring my 0 down. 11 divides into 8 7 times. 7 times 11 is 77. If I subtract, I'm going to get 3. So I'm going to add another 0 here and bring that down. Now this should start to seem familiar. I just divided 11 into 30 twice. 2 times 11 was 22. I subtract, I get 8. I'm going to bring another 0 down and have 80. And then 11 is going to divide into 87 times. And then it's going to keep going. I will get 3. And so these 2 digits, 27, 27, are just going to keep repeating. And I'll see that I would have 0.27, and both of those are going to repeat, so I would put a line over it. Now let me show you what this looks like on the calculator. If I do 3 divided by 11, notice that I get a whole bunch of 2's and 7's, and it keeps repeating, and my calculator screen cuts off here at the 7. Now if we had done this on the blue calculator, you might see something different. Keep in mind that your calculator will round at the end of wherever the screen ends. So if my calculator had ended on a 2 instead of on a 7, the 7 would have caused that to round up to 3. But it's not actually a 3. It's a repeating decimal where the 2 and the 7 repeat forever. So you ignore the 3 and you still write it as 0.27 with a line over the 27. You have to make a little bit of an inference when you do these divisions on your calculator to decide whether it's repeating or not. Just keep in mind that all fractions, when you change them to decimals, will either terminate or repeat. So if you don't see it terminating in the screen, it probably repeats. It's not a guarantee, but that's probably what happens. Now I can also change a decimal back to a fraction. If I want to write 1.325 as a fraction in simplest form, the easiest way to do that is to read it with its place value name, and that will tell me what fraction it is, and then I can just reduce it down to simplest form. So I would say that this is 1 whole and 325 And then I have to look at the place value of the 5 because that's my last digit. So the 3 is in the tenths place, the 2 is in the hundredths place, and the 5 is in the thousandths place. So it's 325 thousandths. So I would write it that way. And now I'm going to have to divide my numerator and my denominator by the same number so that I can write this in simplest form. So I'm looking for a common factor of 325 and 1,000, and I can use 25. I know that both of those are divisible by 25. When I divide this, I'm still going to have my whole number 1, and then I'm going to see, well, how many times does 25 go into 325? 25 goes into 104 times, so it would go into 312 times with another one, that would be 13. And 25 goes into 104 times, so it goes into 1,040 times. And so now I'm looking to see, can I divide 13 and 40 by the same factor? 13 is prime, and so its only factors are 1 and 13. And 13 does not divide evenly into 40, so that tells me that this is in simplest form, and so I can leave it like that. So that's the same as 1 and 325 thousandths. Now if I want to write 3.6 as a fraction in simplest form, again I'm going to take the whole number part, 3, and then I'm just going to read the decimal part. So it's 3 and 6, and this 6 is in the tenths place, so that would be tenths, 3 and 6 tenths. And now I just need to make sure that this is in simplest form. 6 and 10 are both even, so that tells me that they're both divisible by 2. So I'm going to divide them both by 2, and I will get 3 and 3 fifths. And 3 and 5 are both prime, so that tells me that 3 and 3 fifths is in simplest form, and so I am done with that one as well. Here I've been given 3 numbers that I want to write in order from least to greatest. And the easiest way, if you have decimals and fractions mixed together, would be to change the fraction to a decimal so that I can compare all of them and write those in order from least to greatest. So I'm going to take 6 divided by 18 on my calculator, and I can see that that is going to give me 0.3 repeating. So I'm ordering 2.55, and 2.3 repeating in order from least to greatest. So the smallest one of those is 2 because it is less than any decimal number that has a 2 in front of it. So we'd have 2, and then we have 2.3 repeating, or 2.55. So I'm going to look here in the tenths place. 5 is bigger than 3, so that tells me that 2.55 is bigger than 2.3 repeating. So that's my next biggest one, and then 2.55 is the largest. And so I have now put those in order from least to greatest. Here are your free response and multiple choice questions. Go ahead and pause the video and answer those now.